talk about something that's even more important right now, is what to do when you are in the middle of a ritual or a compulsion and you feel like you don't want to stop or you can't stop. That's something we need to really talk about, because there are a few things that I do. And I'm not saying that these always work, because there are some times when you just want to do that compulsion. Oh, it feels so good to get that relief, doesn't it? And you just gonna do it anyway, no matter how crazy you look in public, no matter how much you are degrading yourself while you're doing it, no matter how much time it takes. You like, I'm doing it. I know, because I do that all the time. So I'm going to tell you about how I do sometimes stop it in its tracks. Maybe these tips will help you. I got these tips from, reading some OCD books and actually put them into action to see if they would work for me. And I have to honestly say, sometimes, many times, they have worked. So they could help you too. So let's go for it. How about when you're having that OCD compulsion or ritual, whether it be washing your hands, checking, or anything else that you do, jumping over things a certain way or a certain number of times, opening something so many times, straightening something so many times, cleaning, whatever it is. First of all, you have to stop and think. Why are you doing it? Because usually it's connected to a thought, right? I need to do this. Why? Because I don't feel good. Why? Because this door is not locked. But even though I just locked it 5 times, I don't think it's locked, because my body is telling me it's not locked. Even though I know it's locked because I just locked it 5 times, but I had this feeling that I didn't, even though I know I did. Is that not OCD? It'll drive you insane. So what do? You recognize that this is OCD. And my body is telling me something that is incorrect. You have to be really in tune with your body to try to do this. But I have done it. What I do is I stop and I think, I'm not going to do it again. You know why? Because my body is giving me a signal that's incorrect. And I know this signal feels so real, like I really need to do this, but I don't. And because I know, even though my body is going off fight or flight mode, I'm not going to do it because I know this is false. That works sometimes, but that compulsion or ritual will override that. Oh, it will override it. I know, because there have been times that I've stood for 5 or 6 minutes reasoning with myself why I shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it. This is a wrong feeling. And I go and do it anyway because I want to feel good, right? OCD gets better when you start not needing to feel good. I know this. And I've known it for so many years. And guess what? I still want to feel good. That's why my symptoms still challenge me on a daily basis. Because you have to be willing to be uncomfortable to really conquer and challenge OCD. And there were times when I have made myself really uncomfortable and I've gotten some really good gains. There are other times where I'm like, I just want to feel good right now, so I'm going to wash again. Ooh. But that's one tip. My next tip maybe will help you. This is something I do with my intrusive, horrible thoughts. And this is not for the faint of heart. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you have really bad thoughts that really send you into anxiety attacks or horrible compulsions and rituals, you might not want to try this. I try it and I've done it. It's something I learned also from a book called Brain Lock, which is an OCD book. This particular tip is about thinking the thought, letting the thought go, and breathing through it, and thinking that thought over and over and over again, just letting it go, letting it go, letting it go, letting it go, letting it go. Whew, that sounds scary, doesn't it? It is, but I've done it. And I don't know, how has that helped me? What it does is I found that when you just let that thought go, and you don't try to fight it, and you don't try to work against it, you don't do anything about it, you just breathe through it. And you can't do this and get all crazy about it. You have to go into it thinking, I am doing this. This is me making myself make this thought not mean anything anymore. You have to be very clear about why you're doing it before you start doing it. And then what you do is you just sit and you just let those horrible thoughts, maybe not all at once, maybe pick one or two. Stick with one to start. That one thing that just keeps nagging you and bothering you and bothering you. Just sit in it. Just let it go. And breathe. Don't get crazy about it. Don't challenge it. I've done that before. And what I've noticed is when I do it, the thought starts to dissipate. And it doesn't hurt me as much. It's kind of like teaching your body this thought ain't important. Because you don't get crazy, you don't lose it, you don't get all upset about it. You just let it go. Now, how long do you do that? I have sat and done it for a few minutes and just breathed through the whole couple of minutes while I thought that horrible thought. On purpose, okay? Knowing that I'm doing this to kill the thought. And what I noticed is that thought started to hurt me less. And I would think it, but my body wouldn't respond anymore. It's a hard thing to do. Because those thoughts, we block them. Oh my goodness, don't we block them? I know I do. But it might be something you might want to try. Another thing that has helped me is they call it running towards the roar. You know how a lion roars and he's all big and scary, and if you saw him face to face, you would run the other way? Well, you don't want to do that if you're having an OCD thought and you're deep into compulsions or rituals or something that you're avoiding, because that's a ritual too. Avoidance, avoiding the situation so you don't feel the pain, you don't feel the anxiety. Sometimes you got to run towards the roar. So that big scary thing that's like the lion, just run into it. Now, you and I know that is not easy. We know this. Anxiety and OCD sufferers, that ain't easy. I have done it. I have done it. Yes. And I am here to still talk about it. I didn't pass out. Nobody came and picked me up off the ground and took me to the hospital. I'm still here. I did it. And let me tell you, when I did it, it was terrifying because your fight or flight response is going off and you're feeling your heart is beating and you're just like, oh my God. And then you have these things going in your mind. Am I going to be okay? Am I going to be okay if I keep doing this? If I just go straight into it? That challenge, I'm going to tell you, it's something weird about doing that because I have done it. And then you have to kind of wait, at least my experience has been, afterwards, because you're going to feel pain. You're going to feel the pain of it. But it kind of kills that anxiety that was around it. And for some reason, after I do that, the next day, I have this clarity, like, that doesn't bother me anymore. It does help and it does work if you can muster up the courage and the faith in yourself and in the process to do it. But you really need to be supported in your body to really make it work for you. Like, you have to be really dedicated and you have to commit to it. I'm going to tell you, you really have to commit if you're going to run towards the roar. You have to. But that's something you can try. The next thing that I have tried, also from an OCD book, Brain Lock, we're going to talk about that in the next video, is recognizing that it's OCD and not yourself. It's a really good tip. You know why? Because a lot of times we start thinking these horrible thoughts and then we misconstrue them with our own thoughts and think, oh, then you start getting those thoughts, oh, I'm a horrible person. Oh, why did I just think that? Oh, what can I do to make it right? What can I do? If you just stop sometimes and say, that ain't me. That's that crazy OCD going off again. And I'm about sick of it. I am about sick of you, OCD. And you might feel a little weird and off talking to your brain like that. But I'm going to tell you, that has worked for me sometimes. I have been in the middle of something and start having those horrible thoughts and wanted to go and do a compulsion or a ritual. And I have thought, nope, that's not me. That's not me. And I'm not going to give that thought any relevance. Nope, not going to do it. Not this time. Now, that don't work every time for me, but it is something I have tried and it has worked sometimes. And if you can keep that frame of mind when those thoughts come, perhaps you can ritualize less and have less compulsions. So, the last thing I want to talk about is another thing that has helped me. And this has helped me overall because sometimes we're so caught up in the pain and the fear of it all, like the intense fear. You're like, what is happening? What is going on? What in my body is going off? And all of these things it's a lot, right? Right? Come on, OCD sufferers. I know you know, and you are with me out there. So what has helped me? A thought. Something I heard someone say, I can't remember where it came from. Might have come from a book. But the tip, let me get to it. It's just pain. So, what are you talking about, Katina? Really? What do you mean it's just pain? If you think of those sensations in your body, and they're terrifying, and they're scary, sometimes it helps me to think, you know what, it's just pain. I'm just feeling pain right now. There's no reason for me to do anything about it. I don't have to jump up and down and go crazy over it. I'm in pain. It's just pain. And it does pass. You know what? There's a bonus tip because I just forgot that this came to my mind. There's something else that I do. And it's hard as heck, but I do it. And I have done it. And I also got this from a book. I wait. So what happens? You have the thought, right? That horrible, heinous thought that we are known to have as OCD sufferers. And you want to do something about it. You want to ritualize. You want to do a compulsion. You want to wash your hands. You want to check. You want to count. You want to jump over that thing that's contaminated. You want to avoid it. You want to do this. You want to do that. You want to do something to make it right. Right? Wait. Sounds horrific. I know. It sounds horrific. But I've done it. And I don't mean just waiting like, oh, I'm just going to wait this out. No, when you're waiting, you need to concentrate on something else. So instead of doing the compulsion that you want to do or the ritual, just really concentrate on something else. And that is hard to do. You know why? Because there are so many different kinds of OCD sufferers out there. And sometimes there are situations where one compulsion leads to another compulsion, or this compulsion in this situation is completely tied to that situation. And it's too much to explain, but if you have that type of OCD, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. But in many instances, if you just wait and divert your attention to something completely different, and when you do divert your attention, don't expect your mind to stop, because it will not. Don't expect the thought to just disappear, because it doesn't. What you do is you tell yourself, that's OCD. It ain't me. I'm not doing it. That's it. That's OCD doing that. And you know what you do? You move on to the next thing that you're doing in your day. Washing the dishes. Go do something that really diverts your attention. Get on the computer and look for something, or shop for something, or something. Anything that you can do. Go vacuum. I don't know. Something that helps you really focus on something else. Okay? For me, what does that look like? I don't know. I've done many things. I've gone and start looking on the computer for something. And then when I'm doing it, I'm aware that I'm in pain. I'm aware that my fight or flight is going off. I'm aware that my mind is going off. I'm aware. But I'm like, nope, I'm not attending to that right now. I'm going to do this. And then I give myself about 5 or 10 minutes, sometimes 15. And I assess how I feel after that. Do I still feel the need to wash my hands? Let me think about that. At that particular moment. Do I still feel like I need to go back and check that? Or has it dissipated a little bit? You really need to assess, has it started to dissipate? And you will notice sometimes that it just starts to kind of just fall away. I have noticed that. And there have been times where I have held it off for maybe a few hours. And then I go, you know what? I'll go wash my hands now. I really don't feel like I need to, but I'm going to do it because that's my habit. So I'll go and wash my hands. But it's been a couple hours that I've waited it out, and I saw it dissipate. And I go, there's something to that. So maybe if you can take some of these tips into mind, they can help you to stop ritualizing and doing compulsions so often. Or maybe they can stop those things from being so intrusive in your day. And I'm still working on these things because I told you they are scary to do. But you could find yourself getting so much better if you could start practicing them. And maybe they could help a lot or a little. Any bit of help, I think, is fantastic when you have OCD and anxiety. Anything to make my day a little bit better. Anything to make me wash my hands a little less, I think. If you have any tips that work for you, or if you've tried these tips, leave me a comment. Subscribe to this channel. Come on, because we are doing this together. And the videos are going to get better. Because I told you, the rituals and the compulsions that I do, I'm going to be revealing them. They ain't going to be pretty, but I'm going to tell you. So have a good day, everybody. Take care of yourself, no matter what. Take care of others, too. And I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.